Welcome back to Workers and Resources. We continue in our crime-stricken republic, trying to balance the needs of our people, the needs of our coffers, and the needs of our prisoners, which isn't going perfectly, but it's still holding. Last time we reduced sentences for the people that are being put into prison, because capacity in the prison is getting quite large. Well, the capacity isn't getting large. The amount of people in there is getting quite high. Looks like we also need some more people in the repair station again. Seems okay. I mean, right now we are focusing on getting the university education back up. That is a concern. We didn't have enough university education in Brospyne. Had to make some adjustments, and we're also running thin in Volcanodeni, making sure that we don't run into issues in this area again, like we did near the beginning of the series. Was it the beginning? It might have been like quite a few episodes in already. And yeah, Brospyne is doing very well now with the university education. And hopefully that will have a knock-on effect on the police station receiving way more workers and also being able to work more consistently. Still a lot of cases that aren't being solved, but yeah, we'll just have to see and go through that. Hopefully, over time, we can make a difference. Our population is slowly growing, mostly because we got migrants, but population growth itself was also pointing upwards, so we weren't losing population anymore. Kaminari has recovered. We filled it up with population, and the police station is able to successfully suppress any crime that might pop up here. Always got to keep that in mind to check around and increase capacity if at some point we run into issues again. We have 50% usage of the police station. As long as the population stays high, there should be a relatively small chance of a criminal element moving into this area. We should be able to dispatch police force quite quickly to deal with any issues, and that should give us a high chance to solve a crime and go to sentencing in a court, and then see if we get a prisoner, an additional prisoner or not. But yeah, the prison is like 3/4 filled now. 4/5 even. So we can't increase our sentences. I might have to build another prison again, just to be prepared to balance prisoners into a different area as well. And maybe Kaminari has to hold some of the prisoners, because I think Kaminari is one of our more successful towns and could bear the additional workforce cost quite easily. So I think we'll have to get a prison in this area. And I think I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, the bulldozer, as soon as I gave the order, went ahead and did something else instead. I don't even know where it is. Oh well. It might be at the cusp of reaching here. But yeah, I would like to flatten this area, and where I previously had a small prison, I would like to build a large one. So probably take down this road. Oh, that even flattened it. Excellent. demolition office isn't in assignment range, but we can still go ahead and manually assign it. And yeah, I might have to relocate it, build a new one, just so it's closer. I don't have to constantly be doing that. In this moment, I will go ahead and look for road vehicle depots, so I can free up our free road vehicle depots that are currently not necessary. Because I was running a little bit short on vehicle depots being available for us. This one was used for flattening the area, so we could put the fields in. I will leave that one here for now, because there might be some more fields in the future. We have one bus. We can go ahead and run that. Get rid of the road depot. There's nothing else over here. Two road depots here. One is built. The other one is a free one that we can remove. And then we have a few next to Segadoara, I think. There are a lot of like vehicles for flattening the area in there. Looks like we also have this one. Okay. Let's see. I do have a bus route, right? I only have 4 vehicles in here and we need at least 5. I will give you 2 extra vehicles. These depots will remain as they are, because we will still flatten this area and put in place the storages at some point. Unemployment here. This shouldn't really happen because they're supposed to go to the bus platform, but I guess I'll put it like that, so the bus platform has an actual percentage. There should be enough room here for people to wait. Lots of criminality warnings. The area should be fine, like the police station is up to snuff. It should be able to pick up anyone who does anything wrong. The main focus right now is getting the university education back up, because the area has quite a low amount of highly educated workers, which reduces the amount of workers in the university and the police station and courthouse, etc. So we'll have to keep that up nice and high. So far, cases all seem to be running well. But yeah, things are hopefully slowly improving. I don't know if that's actually true. We're running out of money consistently. If our workforce was productive and having less crime and being a little bit more loyal, it would definitely look a little bit better. I might need more prison buses. Like, I think our prison buses might be overworked. They might all be leaving completely full, and that's true. So let's put in a few more prison buses. I might also disable the line spacing in this route, because I feel like they should drive as fast as possible instead. And I might also put them all onto the same line. So I will do that. I will make a line that has both prisons in there. So first that prison to fabric factory, and then second prison to the clothing factory. And then we have both prisons on that line, and I only have to manage one. Now I just need to migrate all the vehicles over. And it's gonna be as easy as getting a vehicle from the other line and just getting all the vehicles and either assigning them manually, but I'm gonna go this way, prison to factory. And then check the name, if it's the new one, and if it isn't, assign it. To left, prison to factories, yes. That one. And then we have one left. And now we have 12 vehicles on that line with 4 more incoming once they arrive. And that hopefully will balance the vehicles out quite nicely. Don't want to run line spacing though. Didn't have any significant number of escapes last year, which is very good. As long as we can hold them in the prison and reduce their criminality, everything is going well. But the prisoner count is way up there, and we do need to make it a change here by implementing a third facility. Let's see if we can flatten this area now. No. Alright, then we'll grab a road depot and bring a set of vehicles here to make that change, because we do have a lot of vehicles to do that for us. Excavators and or bulldozers. Excavators for flattening the ground, leveling it, and bulldozers if anything happens with placing the building. Sure, we run through all the cases. Yes, police is doing fine. University education needs to improve, but all Canadiani should be on the way up as well. Problem child is Dubasalia. That one just has a small police station. Seems like it has improved actually. Seems like a lot of the serious cases are gone. It's working on some of them. It would be nice if we could finish cases here, but those that are very low chance to solve, I will just kick them out. Hopefully it can finish some of them. Yes, missing resource electronics is going to become a part of this republic now. We will have a significant shortage on that because it's just too expensive to import. I don't even know if I could afford another prison, but I have to. It's just too important to make that change. Let's check our expenditure. First profit. Last year. Iron, very profitable for us. Crops have picked up again, which is good. I need to make sure that I do export enough crops to leave enough room. Coal, very cheap now, unfortunately. Oil, also very cheap. So iron is really profitable for us. We might have to start an iron mine very quickly. Main imports, steel. That should go down as we stop constructing. It will still be used for repairs and that, but it shouldn't be that much. Fuel, always a problem. Electronics have ceased to be imported, except for right next to the border. We keep those people as happy as possible, and those imports will continue running, I guess. Meat is something we should be making ourselves. But yeah, steel, fuel, electronics, electronic components, mechanical components, and liquid fertilizer and plastic. It's not something we can do, because those all require a technical university and some investment into research. Bricks, fertilizer we can make, and meat. So we should, by all accounts, work on meat production. However, I will work on, well, I will set exports for crops to take a considerable larger amount out of the grain silos. So we make sure that we are at around 50% or lower. So whenever a harvest hits, we can be sure that all of the harvest will fit into these storages. So run more exports of crops, please. And I guess if we can, we should see if we can work on improving the export for iron. There was a shortage of workers here for a bit when I made a change and moved some people out. We might have to get some people back in here, because iron is our main export. And I think I'll do that by getting some migrants. I don't want to do relocation right now because of the impact on happiness. People need to be fine the way they are. And the people that I am receiving via migration will have very high happiness and loyalty by default. As long as they're coming from Eastern and countries and not third world ones. So yeah, we should see significant increase in iron mine production, as long as we do have the electricity to do so, of course. They will first have to make their way up to the iron mine, of course, but that shouldn't be too difficult. I guess I could maybe run a bus to the iron mine to make sure that the bus platform doesn't run full. I do have some extra buses. It was next to... Well, first let's get the prison buses in place. Let's put those on the route. Alright. Did have 2 extra buses somewhere that I can use for that. But I forgot where they were. List of vehicles. I think it was IKR. No, not these. Yes, these, okay. Bus and station. All map. Road depot. Yes, these 2. So we'll set these 2 to work for the Dupasalia bus route. and moving people from the bus stop into the iron mine, making sure, well, this area up here, making sure that the bus stop does not run out of capacity for anyone. Don't really need an end station for this, but I will use one because it always kind of makes sense to do that. They won't be able to carry a lot of workers, but they will make sure that the amount of workers doesn't occupy the bus stop too much, and we don't have any space for passengers to be picked up from this area. I might have to get more people on that bus route, more buses on that bus route. It's only 220 seconds of average lap time and we have a lot of buses. But I might need newer ones with more capacity. Oh no, okay, that one picked up enough, never mind. Alright, so this area should be producing a lot more iron with more people in the iron mine. Right now it doesn't look like it is, but I guess it comes and goes in waves. We can't consolidate our loans, we're up to 300,000 again. Iron mine aggregate storage is on fire, because why wouldn't it be if it's our main export? And I'm just here to witness it burning down. So... oh, there it is, the fire truck. Okay. Very good, thank you. Let's hope us getting more migrants for the area will have a positive impact on iron production. We're going through all of the iron ore still, but now we're at the limit. So yes, I think the amount of workers and the buildings we have in this area is just right for exactly one iron ore processing plant. So we don't need any more workers here really. Now it's going down because it's balancing itself. But yeah, it's trying to, could have 50% more, so about 60 to 70 workers in here. How is our rail line to the west? Nowhere near done. Oh, I guess we're also still importing a lot of steel because of rail construction. That is of course also a thing, we might have to seize that as well. I would like to build all of the rails. We're building very slowly, it shouldn't be that much of an import. We'll remain calm. You and you and you. Canadeni is fine. This area is problematic. Not enough workers. Might have to get some migrants for here as well. This area is pretty much filled with a lot of criminals, and they're preventing anyone from really moving in. So we might have to give it an initial bump to where we have enough workers everywhere again. Well, let's see if it can fix itself. We're providing a lot of houses and hopefully can have people in by default. I would like to not spend too much money right now. Let's go search for an iron mine, because I think that's one of the things we could do. We did have iron somewhere in this area last time we checked. Over here. There's a lot of iron. And if we were to produce and export more iron, we would potentially make a lot more money. and also maybe drive down the price of steel. So we could shift more mosque over to iron production. We have a rail line coming down here that could have a dedicated line going into this area for loading. We could try and increase the capacity for more mosque. Have more people live in this area. Because right now it's just enough to run the cement plant at a very small capacity. Or we just go for a different location, but that would require us setting up a completely new site again. That might be in a better location. There's iron here. Oh yeah, we have iron next to Zhezhov. Zhezhov is probably a very good location to do that, because Zhezhov is just running the scrapping facility and it usually doesn't need to do that. I think we have to build an iron mine next to Zhezhov and start mining here. It's too far for walking distance, but we can use the same situation where we're sending workers to a bus stop in this area, and then they walk into the iron mine and processing plant. A little bit worried about pollution issues. Yeah, that's a lot of workers that are not doing anything most of the time. I think this is probably the way to go. Make use of the population in Zhezhov to a higher extent than what we're doing right now. Let's see what the percentages we're gonna get. 78%, very good. Let's flatten this area. Make sure we have room to place down roads and stuff. Because this is a very steep hill and we don't have access to cableways, because that is also a high-tech research. So, loading station somewhere down there. Iron processing facility, also somewhere down there with a storage. One should be enough. Like, we're not gonna increase the amount of workers in this area. I'm just going to try and reroute existing workers into this location. And then we have to get a road to go down here. Which is going to be the tricky part. A road and a footpath pretty much. Now, there is a way where I think it would be easily possible to get that road here. And I think we're going to use that. Which is basically trying to do it diagonally like this. But we might have to start from the iron mine itself first. This is very poorly placed. Oh, it would have a connection to the iron processing facility that way, then I guess we're gonna use that. And now it doesn't anymore. Oh, there we go. My god, is it hard to see. Oh, it doesn't show the connection if it isn't in view. Got it. Alright, I'll use this. And then this one. Gonna put some dirt roads so the end doesn't look too silly. Runoff area. But yeah, this is the road up to the iron mine going to be. Just smoothen out the area a little bit so this doesn't look too terrible. And there we go. And then a footpath for people to walk up as well, which should be less difficult theoretically, but we might have to employ the same strategy. Like go up that way, cut back, because it's too steep. If it allows us to level out into this direction. And it's not in walking distance. It's too far. By a lot. I don't know what to do. Criminal warnings. Fire? Volcanidini, okay, that's fine. I don't really want to run workers up here with a vehicle. Is this the right way to go? Aggregate loading facility with the storage in between. Yes. Ah, right. That is a storage. There is no space for roads. Now this could have the effect that we actually start exporting so much iron that the iron price also goes down. Which would not be ideal per se, but it would also make future construction cheaper. What's in the way? Is it the power line? Probably. That iron mine. Trying to extract iron here is going to be painful. Money's looking okay for now. We're still dropping slightly, but it's holding relatively good as well. I might have to move the iron mine slightly down. No. Just have to make this connection work. how? Does it need to have a bus route? Are we just gonna say, screw that bus stop, we're gonna put the bus stop here instead? Because we still have 100-meter walking distance left. Maybe that's the solution. We'll put the bus route closer. The bus stop. Put it somewhere here. It's gonna make it difficult to get the road connection in. People are gonna be really unhappy about the lack of electronics, that's for sure. I will have to resume those at some point. I assume the building isn't in walking distance down here, is it? No. But it might be if this were asphalt road. Or if I had a footpath to the building. Like, let's say there was a footpath here. Now it is in walking distance. So we don't need a bus stop for you. So I guess we're just gonna run a bus route from Zhezhov here up to the mine. And then back into the platform and back to the bus stop. Okay, we're not gonna use the bus. We're not gonna use a bus stop, we're just gonna make a bus route to the mine instead. So we will in fact put back the roads that we had. If it lets us. That seems okay. Alright, get that as a dirt road and that as a dirt road. So we'll have a bus route to the iron mine. We'll build an electric substation up there, water, sewage, waste handling needs also implemented, needs also an implementation. So we'll need a dedicated distribution office. No. Above ground wires, faster to construct and look better. Not that the faster construction is actually relevant. But the look is kind of nice. So we'll also need a distribution office to pick up the waste from here. We'll need water and sewage specifically for the iron mine itself. Doesn't have to be next to it, it just needs to be somewhere in range, which can be down here. That is in range. Very nice. We'll start all of this. And waste storage. So both of these should get an appropriately sized garbage stand. This one will get an external one. We need our footpath back as well. Make sure that that building is in walking distance. Okay. And up here, if we can, a factory connection should be able to let us build one of these. But I don't think we'll be able to make that happen. So we're probably just gonna grab a bunch of, well, an additional technical service instead of a distribution office. I mean, this one might be able to help as well. Doesn't seem to be overworked in this area currently. Maybe they can help with the iron mine in that location. Could get another truck. Sure. We'll see. We'll probably have to set one up, but we'll see. Yes, electronics missing, yes. Criminals, yes. Happiness is up 1% again. Not sure if that was related to migration. It is still decreasing apparently. Crime still being a big part. Government loyal being the highest part. Yeah, I wish the impact on loyalty was a little bit more clear. That's a very good amount of university educated people providing education. And the police force is working very well. You're also doing fine. What about Dubasaya? Oh, that's looking pretty good. I might have recovered. Oh, this is looking very good. The extra workers might have made the difference. We're working on it. The extra workers with the higher productivity working the police station might have done it. High amount of students here, still not running at full capacity. That police station is still struggling because of lack of university educated people in the area. Okay, Brospyne is still a problem child. But I think it's also improving. The more students we have, the more we can get them up to speed and put them to work in the facilities. I don't think there's any unemployment here, because if they are unemployed, they're going to go to a bus stop instead and be picked up from there. But let's make sure. Only one unemployed. The building is not assigned, so he can walk wherever. And as soon as they get the appropriate education, they can move into the police station. But yes, we need to work on that. Some of the cases are going to be handled very nicely. One is going to run into statute of limitation. These ones are all going to fail as well. We basically need cases that are being successfully resolved with people being put behind bars to reduce criminality. That's a lot of unemployment here. Maybe we had enough people in Slobodatsk all along. Maybe Slobodatsk needs to also produce something for us. There's nothing in the area. Oil doesn't really require workers, not sure why I'm checking that. An coal mine right behind the prison is another coal. Coal isn't really profitable for us right now. There's more coal over here, quite far away, but there is more. There's also one down here. There's a lot of workers. I might have to move them somewhere. Where could I put them? Factory. Get them to the factory area. Pick them up. Drive them to the factory. We'll have less unemployment. It will only take the people that are not finding work locally. That'll reduce crime from people that are unemployed, and it'll make us more money in the factory area. Okay, so end station. Into bus stop. Loading any worker. Into Kaminari Factory's clothing factory. I think the food factory is fine. Let's pump up the numbers on the clothing factory. Go. And we'll rename that route soon. When I assign the other buses, we'll have a capacity of like 240 workers. We might need 4 more buses to run that route consistently, but right now, reduce those unemployment numbers. I was probably fine with the initial 4 buildings that I set up. Maybe I needed 1 more, but now we have a few too many people here. Let's see. That one. Right? Yes. I think that is a very good idea. That's a lot of people here. The buses were quite expensive. 200,000 for 4 buses. Let's make sure they stop heading here. Go on the line. On the line, on the line, get 1 more bus. And put that on the line as well. So we have 6 buses now, hopefully running consistent worker amounts from this area into our factory, increasing production in the clothing area. And making the people happier because they have something to do. but also using the huge amounts of population we are running here currently unused. Don't go to the end station, go directly here. Very nice. And that should be enough. It doesn't have to be a full amount, like we don't need to pick up everyone, but yeah, we should make a good use of most of the people here. They will still go into the prison first, if they need to. And maybe I don't actually need the prison in Kaminari right now. Seems like the amount is going down of prisoners. So yeah, we'll try run additional clothing production as well. Maybe we'll be fine. Sassal is next to Brospyne. Well, they're both part of the problem police station, so we'll have to wait on getting more university educated people back in Brospyne. I guess we will have to keep the worker count of higher education really high. I'm not going to increase birth rate right now. I think we are fine on that. I did get a lot more migrants. Slobodlatsk bus stop, 2 factories, travel time 2 hours, no problem. And the road should be mostly cleared in winter as well. The end station has fuel, right? Yes. I will be fine. Okay, so we will have a lot more workers in this area now, making a lot more clothing. Which should result in a lot more exports that give us large chunks of money, but hopefully also don't drive the price down too much. This is also the work area for our prisoners, so I guess Slobodlatsk is now bringing workers, voluntary and involuntary workers, to our clothing factories. And not an insignificant amount. It might be to the point where we might not be able to unload the prisoners here. Let me grab that route. First you'll pick up from the first prison, going to the fabric factory. No, first going to... First going to that factory, sorry. That factory. Clothing factory, fabric factory and clothing factory. So going here, then here, then here. Trying to get the workers on site. And then you're going to go to the second prison and do the same again. And hopefully that will allow us to drop off all workers. If not, we might have to also move them into food factories or distillery. And yes, I should probably start working on meat. That could have been something for Slobodlatsk, like a meat production line in the area. Livestock farm. Problem being that crops would need to be delivered here, but that would just be a relatively small part of a rail construction task, I guess. Wait a minute. With the new train stations, shouldn't that be really easy to do? I can bring the trains here, like I do for the food factory, just let them wait in the train station. So we have a lot of factory connections, and then the factory connections would go into the livestock farm. So we would always have crops in here. We would have a silo, probably, because the meat storage does not hold crops. So we would have maybe a grain storage here to give the train some travel. Could also build a large one, I guess. And we could have a lot of livestock farms on one train station. And then load the livestock on that train station into a train car and move it over to a slaughterhouse. Because I guess where is the livestock is also held in warehouses, right? No. But the livestock is held in trains. I could have a train there always loading the livestock and then unloading it right back out. Well, sneeze. Oh god, that felt good. So if we had a train stop, like so, and there was a train in there always loading livestock and unloading it back out, that way you could push it from one of the factory connections back into the other factory connections. It would basically just be a train with one train car, maybe multiple train cars, picking up and unloading. Would be a little bit cheesy, but I could also build another train stop nearby and then just have it run from that train stop to the other train stop, doing the same thing, loading here, unloading, going back and forth, which would require a refueling station. Happiness is back down. That's probably due to electronics, but we can't really change that right now. Electronics don't provide us a benefit other than happiness, and we can't afford it. We need to see if we can run this Republic profitable again. Yeah, we should be able to drop off all prisoners that way. And then the workers can fill in the rest. There should be enough room here for everyone, I think. Yeah, and once you've unloaded, you don't check the last building, you just go back and get more prisoners. That'll work. So clothing production should be quite high now, which means that we are going to go through a few more crops. Which means that our large farm area will actually be useful. Now, will we make a profit though? Will we make a profit large enough to repay our loans? That is still not clear. And will Brospyne survive? Unemployment in this area should now be 0. There's a few people here. The bus route might not be full, like we have 420, which would require 7 buses. We only have 6, so that will leave some unemployment. Occasionally, if they can't find work in the prison due to lack of loyalty, then they can't find work with the buses. Some unemployment might occur, but it's kind of minimal. Wow, I had a lot of workers there that weren't doing anything. The 2 extra buildings really made the difference to provide a lot of additional workforce. And that's gonna pay dividends now. Don't really have any unemployment anywhere else. Just some due to small children, which might actually happen in the same area. No, it does not. We have tiny amounts in Brospyne, tiny amounts in Kaminari. Okay. We need another kindergarten here. That amount of unemployment is worth a kindergarten. Actually, it's worth people working in the kindergarten. Kindergarten first, then headquarter, then bus platform. Make sure the kindergarten is fully stocked with workers. We do actually have enough kindergarten capacity in this area. It's just not used correctly, it seems like. So that should provide enough capacity to remove the unemployment issues. University education looking very good. Police station looking very good. Yeah, and we'll have some extra workers. All will be fine. We are probably importing a lot of iron again, steel I mean. Because I'm building a new iron mine. We will not need a lot of buses here. Like 1 bus probably, maybe 2. And then we can increase the amount of workers in the area by building maybe a few more residential structures. Because this is set up to have a decent chunk of workers. We can run twice the population count in the area, and thus run our iron mine at full capacity. I do need to hook up the loading platform to the rail network. Signals back over here. It should really be a chain signal. And you go next to that road. A problem. Well then, I guess we're gonna have to go early instead of late to the rail line, leaving enough room to get past the electric pole. That should work. It does not. Oh, game crash. Unfortunate. Let's get back into it. Let's see how much we lost. Should be at most 5 minutes. It was 1 minute. So, while I was messing around with the train lines, not much should have been lost. 1 to 2 minutes. Probably before I modified the signals, yes. So we'll have to do that to get past the power line. And then hook up into here. And that should be everything. I'm gonna make a dedicated route to the customs house with the end station for refueling. I don't like the train line. That looks a little bit better, but I think we can still cut off some of the jank from here. That looks smooth. That'll work. That'll get the train hooked up. We will need another rail section here for allowing them to cross over its own rail line. Out here. that started. We have electricity planned, we have water, sewage, garbage is not planned yet. I don't think I can fit that there. Probably another technical service to handle this instead of storage. Means we don't get the construction waste out. It's going to dump a lot of construction waste into the incinerator. That's not going to do anything, but what can you do, I guess. I will not remove this signal to get this constructed. We're just going to build here until we get past the switch, and then we can build into the other direction. So at most one train will build into this area. My god, this is expensive. Chemicals, steel, fuel, mechanical components because of the conveyors and everything. And then we also have to take out another loan to get another train going. Maybe even two, like with this iron mine. This one's running... I think this one was also like 79, 78%. The iron mine. Oh, 75. So we need a few less workers to run one iron ore processing facility. But yeah, maybe the strategy for me should be making way more of these industries. Excuse me, where is that locomotive? I don't know. Guess we're gonna click it from the notification screen if it comes up again. I'm waiting for that clothing export. It should happen at some point. Just takes a while to make clothing. It should happen already. What is the clothing export set to? Baraslav. Clothing export. Loading clothing at Singapore at 80%. Well, 10% would be 40. So we need to be at above 320, so the next delivery will trigger clothing export. And that comes at a pretty good price for clothing. 11,000. I don't know how much we're going to carry with a train. At least 68 tons. Yeah, production should be picking up. The export price shouldn't be too much affected by this, like it will have a larger dip, but the dips for the prices do currently recover because we're not running that many exports. So if I check, for example, food, you can see that there are significant dips whenever we bring something to the customs house, but they do recover again, and the same should be true for clothing and alcohol. Clothing because we're barely producing anything, so having more workers in that area is very good. And the alcohol is just consistently good for us. Okay. Yes, missing resource electronics everywhere, I know. We can't afford it right now. We have to clean up our loans first. 4.6% interest rate. I would like to decrease that number a little bit before we start getting electronics again. It will drive down the happiness, unfortunately. But the effect on of electronics is currently not as high as the people going to prison. It is higher than the government loyalty effect though. But yeah, I can't afford it. It would take too much money. Something else is taking money anyway. Some electronic imports at the border. I might have to shut those off. In the sense that I want them to pick up from Brospyne instead of the border. So they're linked to the same location. Because I think maybe they are driving up the price for having frequent low amount imports. So we'll tell the distribution offices to pick up electronics from this area instead of the border, which we already have. So no more imports. That's the main takeaway from this. No more imports without checking with Brospyne first. And same for you, no more electronics. Only whatever is in Brospyne. Longer travel distance, but electronics don't get used up that quickly. So it'll be fine. I hope they can find a way to make the notification system a little bit more elegant. Getting 50 messages about electricity issues in individual notifications is not that great. But having one notification of like 50 lines with these buildings are affected in these cities. Like you have a city center and then all of the affected buildings with one issue. That would be neat. And whenever you click the message, it brings it up. And any new message that would have been added to that will start creating a new message for you. Basically like a monthly report in other games, but messages in this can be quite critical, so they need to happen instantly. Brospyne. Come on, Brospyne. Get your police force working. It's always like trying to start some cases and then it finds newer cases that have a higher chance and it takes those instead. And it just keeps doing that and it's like not finishing any of them. Get rid of all of this. Just start completely new with some very easy cases. Get those locked up behind bars. Yeah, happiness is now going down. I don't want to import electronics. It's not sustainable. Should have probably never done that in the first place. We don't really need radios or TVs. Okay, buildings here are coming up. Yeah, I do need a technical service to handle waste in the area explicitly. But we will try with this technical service first. It still has a lot of room to do so. And it can reach both the mine and the processing facility. The main expenses for construction tasks over here are done. It's going to take a while building the iron mine. During that time, the processing facility does not need to run. And yeah, all the workers in the scrapping facility can basically work mostly in the iron mine. There's too many workers not doing anything useful for too long of a time, I think. Got electricity. These buildings also will need electricity. Yeah, and we'll need to assemble another train for iron ore. At least one, probably two, same as this one. 660 tons of iron, so we need 11 hopper cars. We do have the trains. I will sell these ones, I think, so... but I can't sell them from here. I'll leave them. Alright, let's prepare for the cargo wagons because I will need them. Might as well buy them right now. One train should be enough. At the start, it might be very profitable and we'll go for 2 trains, which means 11 more hopper cars. We do have a second train in there. But yeah, maybe the second iron mine will drive down the price of steel finally. Maybe the first one was barely enough to have a very small impact on our imports. Maybe the second one is actually going to be the thing that will significantly impact the price of steel. Which I would be all for. We can start tilting that further down. Go back more to the initial price of steel, that would be appreciated. Okay, iron ore processing plant coming up. We can just let it run. I mean, if they're sitting idle in the scrapping facility or sitting idle in the processing plant, it doesn't really matter. I think I'm gonna start building permanent road depots because I don't want to go around and placing like 3 road depots everywhere again. More money, but yeah. I need to buy 2 buses and get the workers on site for the iron mine once it comes online. Okay, so workers will start walking into here because it's in walking distance, as is the scrapping facility. Depot. There's the train. First delivery of hopper cars incoming. 600,000 rubles worth of hopper cars. And we need to pick up 3 more. A rail distribution office would help with this. So I only have 3 trains running between all of them. And they only pick up when the storage is full enough, because I don't really need this. Well, I guess I do need the storage because I don't have any intermediate storage other than the tiny capacity inside the building. But maybe I should just move them all into the rail distribution office here and handle things that way. Not sure how many more hopper cars I can fit in that. I'll try a dedicated route. If we were to have to get another train, I will probably consolidate the 3 trains into the distribution office. But then again, the dedicated trains run very nice for us. Also, I probably won't run them through the end station, even though that would always refuel them. This way they can use all of the unloading stations, because iron unloads quite quickly. But that also has changed, because we don't have that many waste trains anymore. You're going to refuel right now. So the iron mine export should actually go through the end station. And then the customs house. We're using that customs house. That one we can also change. We will use that one. Baroslav one. Okay, go refuel and then sell at Baroslav instead. To Vasalia. And the other one is Zezhov. Here, wait until loaded, go through the end station, go to the customs house, unload. Yeah, you can already run. At some point resources will appear after we've built the rail line. I might have to stop the other rail construction projects. Going to the western border. Probably gonna put that on hold for now. Are we building the other parallel line? Yes, we are. Well, that's definitely gonna stop for now. I'm gonna stop both of these. Get that unassigned. Start working on that at a later time, or right now. Just, it's an option, but it's not going to happen right now. None of this is urgent. Also cancel all of these and restart them. Work on the connection to the new iron mine in Duseni. In Zezhov, sorry. Happiness is going down further. we will have to continue imports of electronics at some point, but not right now. I hope the lack of electronics doesn't create a lot of criminals. Okay, keep working. It's looking okay. Brospyne, our problem child. After restarting all of these, some of them are being solved, some medium cases. But there's still a lot of cases that are not. And that's because we don't have enough workers that have a university education. We're gonna take off all restrictions. Anyone can work and get an education. Get the population numbers up. Iron mine export Zezhov. As soon as we have the connection, we can run the train. And as soon as we have the iron mine, we can start producing stuff. And as soon as we have the vehicle depot, I'll be a little bit happier because I don't have to get the free vehicle depots every time. There's a lot of trains waiting for you, Mr. Construction Office Train. Would be nice if you were building a little bit faster, but I understand that we took some measures in this area, trying to get the police station to operate, which I think we can now stop again. So you can send more workers into the Royal Construction Office. We had nothing running into Statute of Limitation this year. We had no unsolved cases this year. So that area seems to be fine. Almavari didn't really have problems. That one has been, like, spared from all the nonsense. Vavkovic and Kribosia are part of Volkanedeni, Zezhov. We're having a few issues, but they're also fine. Dubasalia was on the way to recovery. It looked it's barely able to get some cases solved. But yeah, it seems okay-ish. After we cancelled most of the cases this year, they seem to be able to get some of them done now. Mormosk is part of that area as well. And Brospyne, we're still waiting on more people. I think this police station is like not gonna improve until Brospyne improves. Okay, we might have too many students now. Institute loyalty requirement again. 20%. Can't have that many students at the same time. We need to have a 50-50 split at most, so we can run some of them through education relatively quickly, which then become more professors and improve the speed at which people get a university education. Alternatively, I might be able to relocate some people from Kaminari who's doing very well, if I still have room over here with some free flats. Yes, I do. Let's do that. Let's pick you. Keep that overlay open. Relocate only university educated folk. Get them into this city. Let's see how they do. Brospyne, yes. We're trying. well, we are trying. Another police station over here could help, trying to replace the small one, which is also apparently insufficient. So I guess we do have to build another large police station here as well. Take out another loan. We are almost at the 50% mark in regards to loans. Stop giving me that many messages. Like, we have 1 million left and we're at the halfway point. Construction of the iron mine is almost to the tunneling part. Boards and concrete we can provide ourselves. We will have to import some more steel. And then it's going to take a considerable amount to get the iron mine operational. Can you drive through here? Stop blocking the trains, maybe? Thank you. How's population growth? Stagnant, which is fine. I don't need population growth right now. I will have a lot of extra escapes from lack of electronics, I think, because of the unhappiness. But as long as population isn't dropping and still slightly increasing, I'm okay with it. Could increase population growth with the research. Segaduara? Oh yeah, that one was also still struggling with a lot of crime in the area. The police station is like completely filled, but the crime is just propagating in this area. We have to relocate the people out of this and start anew. Get all the criminals to Kaminari. What's the worst that could happen? Okay. 17%, 26%. Yes, please get you out of here. Get you out of here. Oh, we have some room in Tuseni for you to mess around. And let's get these 11% people out of here as well. And maybe move some people with low criminality back in. Okay. Let's see. 10%, 5, 2, 13. Okay, we're gonna relocate the 13 and the 10%. And then move a batch of low criminal people into the area. %, here we go. Let's start populating Segaduara with people that do behave, hopefully. Okay, work on some lower cases. Some minor and medium crime cases instead. And hopefully the area is now going to be better. Maybe drop in some more people. From you, 1%, that's fine. I'm looking at the criminality. Okay. Let's wait and see how it goes now. Maybe relocating people is an actual strategy that I can employ in case of crime. Okay, last construction phase for the mine, very good. Gonna start soon. You can move in, the other train's gonna be past the signal in a moment. Gotta keep the trains moving. There's a lot of them in this area. Zhezhov is basically our rail choke point location. All trains move through Zhezhov. Yeah, I'll leave this all as one block. There's not that much rail traffic going through there. It'll be a little bit easier and better to manage. Oh, I think we finally did the clothing export. That's looking pretty good. No, we did alcohol and iron last month. Did we do a clothing export? I don't think we did yet. Wait a minute. We should be doing a clothing export. I don't want to run full on clothing. I guess our trains were just like too busy. Maybe it just filled up and there's one moving there right now. Yep. 136 tons of clothing. It's gonna be more than 1 million, I think. More food, more alcohol. Very good. Should help us repay some loans. Or just keep them in hold and don't run out of money when we do another import. Could also trigger an import of electronics, I guess. Construction trains should be able to move out and then back along this rail track, I think. Not sure how they're gonna do that. They will have to do one more construction task and then also build in that direction. Can you get out of here? No. Then I'll just do that. Not sure why we can't build that. Well then, I guess I will have to use signaling instead to get the trains in this area. Oh, this is the reason. This is the reason they couldn't leave this area. Now it should work. I think. Well, now they can also drive straight through here. That's also fine. But I do have to make this a chain signal, otherwise there will be potential for a collision. And this one... can't do that. Well, we're gonna use the same strategy here. Just signal it all the way to here, and then we should be able to reach those as well. Yes, well, Kennedy will have some extra criminals. I did relocate a bunch of criminals over here, which percentage-wise won't be that many people, which is good. But it's still quite an increase. 13%. Yep. Funny thing is also I forced those people to work in the courthouse and the police station, so that's interesting. We do have our technical service up. Copy the schedule over. Set the range to maybe 2 kilometers for road clearing. That looks pretty good. And then change the vehicles into that area. Water and sewage. Got our proper building now. Do have enough workers in the fire station. And now that we moved out the criminal elements from Segaduara and moved in nice people, it's actually able to keep up with the cases, so we will have to employ that strategy in the future, trying to relocate all of the criminal elements out of an area and relocating nice people back in. Speaking of relocating people, university education in this area is struggling a little bit. Could have a few more party officials, but some of them are being staffed right now. Because I'm wondering if I should relocate some more into Brospyne, which is the last town of ours that is struggling with crime. Let me relocate some criminal elements out of this area rather than trying to relocate new people in. Let's try and find the worst buildings. 15% is pretty bad. 16. Okay, 15% doesn't look as bad anymore when you have 20%. Yeah, 20% is definitely a candidate. 20 and 16%. Relocate them into Kaminari, if there's room. And try to alleviate the work that that area has to do by making that a thing. I should do that for Sasales, because these buildings are relatively small and it's quite a hodgepodge of population, creating a lot of crime issues in the area. So let's get all the buildings that have 15% or more. We'll empty them out and move in 14% can also work. We'll move them out, reduce the amount of criminals that way, and move some people back in. Which should reduce the crime in the area quite nicely. Yes, we do have plenty of spare room here, and crime isn't too bad. So let's do that. %, 13, 6, 3, 7, 2. I'm gonna go to the 2% building and relocate some of them into Sasalis because they have been so... Oh no, we can't, it's reconstruction. It's partly being reconstructed. Well then, you're still trying to solve things, but you're struggling. Do we have crime issues here? No. But maybe it's all in Mormosk. There is an elevated amount of crime in Mormos, so let's relocate some more people into Vulcan next to the better police station and see if that helps. Zezhov should be doing fine. But yeah, we'll relocate some of you back into Sasalis. Okay. Might not be enough to run the brick factory right now. But at least it should stop Sasalis from generating that much crime. We'll cancel everything that is a serious case and let them work on a fresh batch of cases. Start with new cases. Everything is cancelled. Start fresh. Okay, now we did a clothing export. 1.7 million in total, out of which 1.6 was clothing. 136 tons of clothing. Gave us a very high amount of money. Let's repay the loan with the highest interest rate. And keep the rest of the money around. Happiness is still decreasing. I am okay. Population count did decrease somewhat. We did relocate lots of criminal elements out of this area. Let's go look for more. 15% or higher this time. 20. 17. 24. Stop autosaving, thank you. 16. Okay, this area seems to be highly affected. 19 and 8. But our new police station is up. Let's relocate the existing police cars over. All new cases go into the new police station instead. Let's get 4 more cars. I think the extra police station is probably going to turn it around without me relocating anyone, because we're going to have double capacity now. So small police stations don't seem to be that effective once you go over a certain number. And I think it's better to have 1 large police station than 2 small ones. No, supposedly you can have 4 small police stations for 1 large one. But then you use less police staff. 4 workers less. Okay, we're just gonna start letting them operate. Cancel all of the serious crimes. Crime investigations, you're not gonna do them anyway. You're just gonna do some of the minor cases. You can probably finish those. Get rid of that. And that. You can do... No, you're gonna get kicked out. Never mind. You're very inefficient. Get out. Go into the other police station. Work on proper cases. We might have to relocate some university-educated folk into the area, but in general, 2 large police stations should hopefully turn this around. Traffic is waiting too long. Okay, what happened? That happened. Move. Chain signal. Here. Interesting. Oh, they're driving through the scrapyard now. That's new. If that's a valid route, that is quite interesting. Probably have to move that signal back further to here. Go through. Alright. So now we should be able, well, not yet, but we should be able to start the train to go into the loading station. It wouldn't be able to drive out until we finish the other rail lines. Why are both of you not moving? Okay, I'm gonna teleport the construction trains. No, wait, you're trying to build here, that's why this is reserved. What are you doing? You're actively trying to build something. No, you're driving back. You're driving to the repair station. Okay. Through that line. That's not good. That is actively not good. We'll institute proper traffic logic here. Turn you around and see if you can find a path. Actively blocking everything. And you're just gonna go home. Alright. Some gravel. Fuel import, just 170k for 420 tons. Very cheap for us. Thanks to our oil exports keeping the price nice and low. So now we have a construction train coming that way. That's why the other trains aren't moving right now. I don't like this. We're gonna remove the signals up here and hope that the construction trains can now build this from that location. Yes, they can. Another train moving through here. Interesting. All three crop trains are currently on the network. That means our factories might be running out of crops soon. But a train is coming back, so shouldn't be too long of a problem. There was an unemployment too high message and I clicked it away accidentally. Let's take a quick look. Nothing over here. It's probably in Brospyne. No, it's not. It's over here. But why? Oh. Let's increase the amount of workers in the fire station so anyone can go to the bus stop and work in the fire station. So we now have enough workers for the area. Let's keep the heating plant at full capacity as well. Yeah, we relocated all of the criminal elements out of Segadoara, and now the police station is sufficient. Heating problem in Brospyne. Excuse me. What is going on? Heating bus from bus north to heating plant. 5 buses. Oh, I know. I unassigned people walking to that bus stop. Need more workers. People are freezing to death. Yes, I'm working on it. "21 workers should be able to recover. Hopefully they'll get here soon. Thankfully, that happened in November rather than in the middle of January. So while the heating issue is very much present, setting the 2 buildings back to go to the bus platform should resolve it. We'll have a slight increase in visitations to the clinic, but also here we should be able to go through all of them. Should have a clinic in this area there. Yep, we're working on it. Heating has been re-established. We should be fine again. University education is still the problem in this location. We're not getting enough people through. Let's pick a building with a high count of university educated folk and low criminality. Something like 5% or less. Like you. And start relocating people over here. Happiness down to 60%. Population dropped by around 200 people. No unemployment over here. Okay, unemployment has been resolved again. There's still some unemployment due to childcare, but it's mostly spread out. Still very much present over here though. But you're not really producing anything. Your main goal is like providing education and vehicle repairs, I guess. So I guess some people taking care of their children is fine. I'm a very distribution office. 63% with 10 years of age. Should be able to get a repair. Yes, please send some workers to the grocery store. That would be helpful. 2 staff and doctors in the clinic should help bringing more workers to the repair station. Kindergarten at that capacity is fine. I assume it's electronics. Yeah, okay. Slopolask. Sure. Yes, it's fine. Happiness is struggling between 60 and 61%. It just ticked up and ticked back down. Government loyalty is down to 24%, which is very bad. I might have to bring back the electronics, because it will also make them more happy and increase productivity. Thus, they will get more students through the system. Okay, let's take a look at our loan. We repaid quite a lot of it. I think we can maybe give them a treat and trigger electronic imports again. I'll have to take out probably 2 or 4 million because of it, but let's do that. Not you actually. Or? No. Oh, kinda you, yes. You're handling imports and exports. You're still very busy though. You might not be getting to that for a while. But I will take out the loan while the percentage is at 4.6. What are you doing now anyway? Crop exports, food exports, and that is keeping our that's keeping the train cars busy. I think I'll relocate the citizen handling, if I haven't already, down to Singapore. So from the customs house you can load meat and electronics and bring it to Brospyne heating plant train cargo station. And that's going to be 70 tons of electronics at a price of 26,000, 260,000 times 7. That's almost 2 million, that's like 1.75 million. More than that. I did relocate most people out of Sasalis who's still causing crime. %. You'll have to be relocated out of here. Move some nice people into this area. Okay, fill this area up so it can't fill up with criminal elements. Except of course for the people that are going to leave because they have been relocated way too many times now. And there's the import. That's not actually the import yet. It's gonna go down way quicker than that. There's the train, I think. Yeah. So, we're gonna lose probably around 2 million now. And that's not gonna be the only import. Oh, actually it's not that much. No, it is 1.75, okay. I did do the math correctly. Should get the happiness back up. Should reduce the drop in population. I'm not sure if we can sustain this. It'll take a while for the electronics to distribute. We don't have that much capacity inside the warehouse, so we probably need another 2 million in loan again relatively soon. But yeah, I hope that happiness is gonna go up and we can sustain our population, keep them happy, and soon start on, well, our new mine. Vehicle depot is up. I'm gonna get 2 buses here, going from the end station to the bus stop to the mine once it's up. Tempted to try and get a free bus stop here so we can send some workers over there with the bus route directly, but that would make the hill look quite weird, but I think we can fix it. It's only a free bus stop. Is it in walking distance? It is. Great. Go here, unload any worker, and go. That should put almost all the people into the mine. Okay. Why don't you want to pick up any people? You can send them up here, it's fine. Force unload. Sorry. Okay, now it's working. Even without force unload, I think. In a month or two, we're gonna check and see where electronics are still missing. I will take out another loan, because I don't trust myself to pay attention once we have the electronics import, so I guess we need to have 2 million in the bank for now. Okay, we do need the transfer options set. Go back, unload the workers. That one is repairing. I'm gonna call all vehicles home. Looks like the rail line has finished construction. We can put the signal back in. Correct these signals. Well, these signals aren't necessary. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I guess if a train moves into the... Well then again, I might want to deliver trains by pulling them here, like electric trains. I might have to pull them into this area, and then if they want to get back out, I might have to switch lanes. Can you get a repair? They're like only 6 point something years. Slopolatsk. Oh right, that's the area that I built that was probably outside of range of any repair station. So we might have to build a repair station before Mezina comes up. This area is just going to deteriorate more and more. So let's get a small repair station in place. Zhezhov. Why? Didn't we have enough workers in here? What the hell? Thankfully it was only a conveyor engine transfer. But what the hell, man? Did we have multiple fires in the area? Maybe I should spend my research going towards reducing the amount of fire we have. Slopolatsk. Sega Dwara might also be outside of range of any repair station. Let's see. Repair station. Barely in range. But not for the distribution office. So there we'll have the same issue, I guess. And we did another electronics import, because our money's all gone. Let's get that started. Walking distance, it can reach one building. We can have a footpath up here if it's not enough workers. Don't need an extra storage for steel, I don't think. But I'll also set up a vehicle repair station in Segadwara. Because there's also a rail distribution office here. Might as well. set up. Get it started. Keep the rail distribution office on hold though. That one we don't need right now. I will have to take out another loan. We're at the 50-50 point now. I can consolidate the loans down into one. Reducing the cost, I think. It's probably not going to reduce anything. Interest rate is climbing. No, it's not worth it. Let's not do that. Let's keep 2 million in the bank for the eventual electronic imports. And let's work on the iron mine area in Zhezhov. Alright, anyone can work here. Anyone you drop out onto the bus stop, thank you. That's probably the reason why they didn't want to move anyone. It's only limited to 5 people. But now they should. As soon as the timer's up, they should start walking. How's clothing production? The amount of we need to change the prison bus route. I made a mistake. We need to bring the workers to the fabric factory first before we try the clothing factories, I think. It's not a huge mistake, but if the fabric factory doesn't output enough fabric, then the clothing factories can't keep up. So it makes sense to have the fabric factory stacked with workers first. So we always have enough clothing, or enough fabric to make clothing. Will you clean this up, maybe? Yeah, it would be helpful. Wait, are you still assigned to the wrong incinerator? Yes. Unload here. Oh my god, they've been here for like ages. Okay, well, let's operate the incinerator and get rid of the hazardous waste and everything. These trucks haven't been doing anything for the last years. Good to know. Well, at least it should be working now. It should probably output a message of the waste storage is full. Then we'll get this rebuilt. Get the mine up in time. Start working on a little bit more extra iron. We'll send our train out right now. This is going to use the end station. And I think the other train line is also going to do that. So we're gonna... Never mind. The end station is already in there. Population has dropped more. There's not enough people. We're not gonna resolve the issue. Oh, we do have a second police station. It'll take time. We can still get educated people moving into this area if it starts emptying out slowly. Just need to make sure that the other areas are operating without problems. Slapollatsk out of goods. You will be able to pick up some electronics soon, I assume. Oh, you have electronics. You just have too many shoppers here. So they can't restock. And I guess when that happens, they count as unable to get food or clothing or anything. So hopefully we can save that. I mean, I believe we have enough people here, but yeah, it should be fine now. Okay, the extra 5 people were probably needed. Seems okay-ish now. Soon, as long as they can still restock, we'll be fine. But yeah, there was a crisis starting to occur in this area. The amount of prisoners has dropped, which is nice. Don't need an extra prison. Our low sentences are, well, reducing the prison population. Start working on these buildings, get the repair station up, bring some resources here. Make sure the vehicles stay operational. Don't need to have a lot of people working in here, so if one building is in walking distance, that should be enough, and we can probably force you to walk over there. I'll reset as soon as the building is done. Lots of people living next to the heating plant, which isn't probably that healthy for them, but there's also not that many people living in the area, so the heating plant shouldn't be outputting full amounts of pollution, and it's only during winter. That'll be fine. That's looking way better. Should I store some fabric maybe? And export that if we have too much? Nah, should be fine. Okay, now the clothing factories are running at full production. If we can balance more workers in there, it would be okay. Like, I can reduce the amount of workers in the fabric factory a little bit if I wanted to. But I think it'll balance itself out. Probably. So, Brospyne is currently running out of highly educated workers, and thus facilities are shutting down and stopping to work. I don't have the means, the capacity to get highly educated workers there via migration because it's just going to be too expensive. So I'll have to try and save it, or we just let it die and then people in later. I'll try and save it. One building from Kaminari, one reformed building from Volcanodeni. We'll take another look at buildings with too high of a criminality rate. Let's increase the loyalty requirement for students to 30. This is too many students in here, we're not going to get anything done. And let's run a research for increasing birth rate because we're still dropping population quite quickly. We did relocate a lot of people, so happiness is dropping as a result. Let's give only university education to 35 and higher. That should drop this by quite a high margin. I do need more university educated people in here. But if I can't educate them in time, then what's the point? Let's open up the university here so they don't drive to Brospyne, but rather stay in this area and make this 20% instead. That's quite high. Try. Okay, we'll search for more criminal elements, relocate them probably into Volcanodeni, and then move people back into Brospyne and try and recover this area. I don't want this town to die either, but we have some issues. I have a feeling that the small police stations can't deal with serious crimes at all. Stop turning to crime. You're living a relatively good life in there. Stop being annoying. There's not enough sellers here, leading to people not receiving what they need. Work here, and then work in the police station. Same for this one has the same issues. Work here, and then in the police station. food is present. It's just, yeah, too few sellers. %, with 10 people, you're gonna be moved out of here. 14%. It's quite high, but I think that's okay. No, let's not take chances. We only have a small police station here. Let's preventively relocate you out. 12%, you're gonna be moved out here as well. Get out. Singular pole. I don't know. Singular pole is so small that it shouldn't have any effect. And let's lower you down to 10%. Now that we have large police stations everywhere, you only have to deal with whatever comes up in these factories. And if Duceni has any capacity issues. Fabric is almost full. More Brospyne. 26%. Get you out of here. Go live in Volcanadeni. Yeah, you are still sick, you are fine. Everyone else has left. It's not looking great. The electronic imports didn't have the effect that I wanted. I thought it would raise happiness quite severely, but it doesn't. Crime is lower now, only 700 cases, but it's only been 2 months. But yeah, we'll continue relocating criminal elements out of Brospyne, and sometimes I guess I could get some more migrants. Let's see. No, we're over the halfway point. 400,000 per month. It's way too much. Just gotta use the US currency. Okay, birth rate increase. Almost done. That's why we don't have that many professors available right now, but once it's done, education should be back to normal. And we should be at around 50%. No. Well, maybe. Yes, we should be at around 50% of students in the auditorium versus those that are waiting. The mine is at 1,000 workdays. Construction is continuing. Let's shut you down. Let's shut you down for now. So all the workers go to the bus line and can be picked up for constructing the building. Got that building in Brospyne. 19%, you're gonna get out of here. Everyone, mass relocation because some of you are criminals, so get you out. Oh man, I need better loyalty in this area. If the loyalty drops, the shopping centers start running into capacity issues. Okay. Eating plant in Volcanideni, sure. More Brospyne criminals, 25%, you're all gonna be relocated. Let's drop you in Almavari. They can handle a few. Yeah, the police is idling. Singiopol. Last time I said I didn't care. No, you should be fine. It's a small village. The police station over here should be able to deal with that. More Canadeni, yeah. Brospyne, more Brospyne. 17%. Why is everyone turning into criminals here? Okay, research program in Brospyne is done. Maybe I should shut down the university and just let them handle the crime first. Which would mean we would run out of university educated people in the area over time. That doesn't strike me as a good idea. That's a lot of cases. Let's try. Let's move as many people into the police stations right now. School's out. This might help. The criminal cases are being handled. And we don't lose our most loyal citizens anymore to them leaving because of crime not being dealt with. Then maybe we can start university education again after. Hello Sancho, sorry for not noticing you earlier, but it is still very stressful in this game. The Republic is still struggling with crime all around. Most of the towns are working again. I've been doing a lot of relocation. We're still losing population, at least happiness is slightly going up. But me relocating people all the time is dropping happiness quite a bit. No drinking water, well of course. Why would you need that? Okay. Instead of the bus stop, go here. And make that a priority before the kindergarten. The next building over will take care of the kindergarten and the heating plant, and then go to the bus stop. Okay, so now we should have workers here. We'll have drinking water soon. They have electricity. They still will need steel. Which can be handled by you. Directly into the repair station, no aluminum. Actually, you're also going to deliver the resources to the warehouse, and I'm going to turn off the distribution office locally doing that, because it should focus on food supply. And then Slobodatsk will have the same. I hope I have left enough room for the factory connection. I did not. Why am I like this? I'm gonna rebuild the warehouse. Can't believe I forgot the factory connection. Oh well. At least the demolition office is working fine. So it shouldn't take too long. Is the incinerator done with its work? Yes. No more workers in here. I'm gonna demolish everything and turn this incinerator off. The mine is up. That means we can relocate the bus route directly into the mine. The mine is not up. The mine has 60 more days for construction. But the mine will be up momentarily. And we do need to rebuild this conveyor engine transfer after it burned down. We do have enough workers in the fire station. We might not have had enough vehicles. Let's give it a second vehicle, I guess. Now the mine is up. the bus stop obsolete. We'll wait until the workers walk into the mine. Okay, apparently demolishing the bus stop while they're walking counts as interrupting their footpath target. But yeah, the mine will start operating now. The iron ore processing plant can operate. We just don't have our connection to the storage set up yet. But after that, we'll produce our own iron next to Zhezhov. We'll run the scrapping facility with like 5 workers. Iron processing with 15. And the rest can go into the buses for the iron mine. Let's hope that gives us another nice income boost and reduces the cost of any future steel procurement. And we're starting to repair things here. Very good. Slopolatsk will need the same thing. We'll keep the demolition office window open, so as soon as the road has been demolished, we can assign the other one. Because I forgot to pay attention to the factory connection for the warehouse, and I can't connect it. Wait a minute. I guess I can make an unconventional... No, I can't. It's too long. Never mind. Carry on. Okay. Let's go back to our game of find the building in Brospyne that is ravaged by criminality. Okay, 5% is okay. %, is not. 17, 18, 26, 29, so one of the last 10 people. Who the hell? 55, 100%, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll need to let Volkanadeni we'll have to give Volkanadeni some time to recover from all of the bad people we're moving into that area. Two police stations should be more than enough, come on. One more delivery of mechanical components, then the conveyor will be done. We'll be able to store iron here directly into our train. So please send the resources and the workers, because we need more money. I guess we're playing musical chairs with our crime, with our criminals, trying to put them on chairs that are right next to police stations. So yeah, currently no university education here. Everyone has to work in the police station for now, trying to reduce crime. You have very high happiness. I have to relocate you to Brospyne. You don't have very many university educated folk. I'm just gonna relocate those. Yeah, let's not relocate everyone, let's just relocate some university educated people. University education in this area should be quick and plentiful. Come on, you're doing fine. You can do it. I believe in you in police station. It's gonna be a lot of cases from lots of people that I moved in, but I'm sure we can get things done. And then we have to focus on propagating our university education throughout our population, because right now it's insufficient. I thought it was impacting our electronics consumption, but that seems to not be the case, so we should run as many university educated people as possible, while also trying to push up loyalty a little bit. But right now, crime investigations. Focus on things that you can do. That still have a sliver of hope for being solved. Put those people behind bars. Maybe I should increase punishments again. Now that the amount of people in the prison system are quite low, let's lock up any serious crime that we get for a long time. Medium crimes for 5 years, minor crimes for 1 year. That's fine, that's like very small crimes. Construction office maintenance in Vulcanidenine. We need some repairs soon. Actually, you're gonna get scrapped soon because you're 38 years old and at 60% wear and tear, which is my cutoff point. Anyone coming here to build this? Yes. They will finish this as soon as the bus arrives, which it does right now. And then we'll have our iron export running. One train will probably be sufficient until we increase the amount of workers in the iron mine. But I'm not gonna overdo that just yet. Also, there's not enough sellers here. Can you please fix that? Thank you. Too much hospital staff, I think. Kindergarten is fine. Teachers, fine. Police station. I'm not gonna mess with the police station right now. I was about to decrease that, but let's not. Too many firefighters. 20 should be okay. 10 per car. Per truck. Electricity issues in Zhezhov. Excuse me? What's going on? I'm scared. What's gonna happen if this reaches 0? Is it gonna start working again? This must have like crashed with like electricity in there and somehow got a wrong value, and then I think it is overcharged with electricity and it's not working, but as soon as it goes to 220 volts it probably fixes itself. No. Too much waste. 1 ton. Is anyone gonna pick that up? I don't want this to actually be demolished, but I do want the waste to be removed. Is anyone gonna pick up the waste? Yes. Do not bring the excavator here. Do not. I just want the waste to go away. Because I want to cancel the demolition again. Come on. Where's the waste truck? It's over there. Where's the truck with the excavator? It's way closer. Alright. Don't think I have a vehicle depot anywhere here. Go away. That's some workers. Are the workers closer now too? Oh man. Let's see. Let's get a free vehicle depot for that. It probably makes sense trying to mess around with that stuff right now. I hope this conveyor fixes itself. If it doesn't, then this area is not going to be able to operate. Where is the excavator? There it is. Alright. Demolition office. I wanted to assign you to building demolition in... was it Slopolotsk? Yes. Do not demolish this one. Where's the waste truck? Where are you? Over there. Where's the waste truck? It's further ahead. Good. Then you pick up the waste and we're going to cancel the demolition. And see if that resolves the issue. Whatever just happened. Okay, it's gone. Cancel. Now it's working. Okay. Let me drop a save. Because I need to go back and load an autosave and see if I can get a save game from this so I can report it. Let's just check if... Let's check if the... Sorry about that, but I do think these things should get like logged and fixed so they don't happen once the version finally releases. That is something that... This is mainly the point. Okay, what are you doing? This is shortly before the construction finishes. Save. Let's put the window of the conveyor engine transfer here. I hope it happens, because then it is reproducible and it can be solved. No. Does not happen again on save game reload, unfortunately. Okay. Well, it was worth a test. Go back to our normal game. I will send in a report with the live stream link then, I guess. Tell that the building burned down, got reconstructed, and it behaved strangely. And on demolition, there was waste in there. Maybe it was the waste. Maybe it was that it had like already materials inside the engine transfer. But now we're producing iron ore. And turning it into iron in the area for export. And my hope is that we're going to drive the iron price, and in the same way in the steel price down some. Do I need another bus? The wrong bus route. Yes, I need another bus. Zhezhov to Iron Mine. I determined that I needed another bus because the lap time of the buses was 170. And it's like 60 seconds per bus that you should have. Less than 60 seconds, ideally. So 3 buses would be 180 seconds lap time, which should space out enough so that all the workers can be picked up and we stop having unemployment in this area. Which I don't think we have any right now, because if they go to the bus stop and then no one picks them up, they're just going to go into any other area, like the scrapping facility or the iron ore processing. That's looking very good. Good production. But yeah, I think 1 train is going to be enough to handle this area. Sasalis, too many criminals. Yeah, that is another problem area that we are trying to resolve. 12% for 17 people. I think I already reset all of you. I think that police station... What happens if I institute a no personal vehicles road sign here? And for that reason, my hope is that no police car can reach Brospyne anymore. So the police officers stay in this area. But I think they will probably just ignore that sign because they are emergency vehicles. I don't know. Yeah, I would like for this village to not have to deal with the crime in Brospyne. So we have to reduce the crime in Brospyne so that this police station doesn't have to deal with it. Don't think we can solve that with traffic signs except for making the road completely inaccessible, but that wouldn't be helpful. Yep, minor and medium crimes are okay, no problem. We do have increased sentences. And our capacity in the prisons should be able to... yeah, do not have a problem with that. I might be able to increase loyalty requirements here. Let's up that to 30. Which will benefit all prisoners and ourselves. Give them more reduction in criminality, reducing the loss in loyalty. I think it would be a good idea if we can have enough people with like 30 plus loyalty working in this. Repair station is up. We have some vehicles waiting for repair here. I think we will start sending some materials directly from Brospyne Material Distribution Office and start operating on that basis. Vehicles on lines may also repair here. And yeah, once the warehouse is demolished and we can build a new one, I guess we might be able to build a new one right away and hook it up from a different side. Make sure that the factory connection is in place. But yeah, that's quite enough workers in here. Just need to supply it with resources, and then vehicle repairs in the area will also be dealt with. Don't need a large repair station, that will be part of Mezina, if we ever get to it. Right now that's still kind of dubious. At least we're below 50% of our loan capacity again. I still have a little bit of money left. But the next electronic import is gonna come soon. Happiness is going up again. Yeah, I'll have to try. Can't do much else. The radio station would help a lot. Anything boosting loyalty would help a lot. 16%. You're going to be relocated, but not to Volsenedeni because that one is quite busy already. I'm going to go here. 15%. It should not be a problem. I mean, the only problem might be that this area drops down in population so much our fire station is not working anymore. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Brospyne, on the other hand, we have to deal with. We have to reduce local crime until the police stations can catch up. 5% is okay. That means we removed one of the main criminal elements from the area. Get through all of the serious crime cases, hopefully resolve them, lock people up for a long time. I think this is probably the series where I will have to learn to understand the crime system. And I think I've figured a few things out how to work it, but I'm not quite sure yet how it works. Feels like at some point things are shifting over a limit where instead of small police stations being able to handle things, they don't anymore and you can't recover. And then you need large police stations to take their place. But maybe if you have one large police station and you have an issue in a small village, you can just relocate all of the crime elements out of there and recover things again. Replace them with fresh workers. Brospyne again. 13%. Why are people turning criminal here? I don't know. Go to... not Sasalis, but here. 13 to 11% criminality. 10, 14. When it went back up to 14, that means we just relocated some people who weren't criminals, and then the average percentage shot up again. But yeah, so, Kaminari should be able to deal with that. The police station is not busy, and is only running at half capacity. We'll receive some extra criminals in our prison system, and that's okay. We do have a lot of capacity again. 50%. I think we've recovered in regards to the crime. I think Brospyne is probably on its way up. It still has the issue of there's currently no one studying. We have to get through as many criminal cases as possible that it settle in, and then open up the university again. Right now we're running on our last remaining capacity of university educated people in the area, trying to deal with the crime, and once we've dealt with it, we're going to reduce the capacity of police workers again by opening up the university. Then police officers will move into the university instead. I might also shut down... okay, there's only one worker in here anyway. Because I don't think we have very high government loyalty to fulfill that. Let's put you at... when we open up the university we will definitely need you, but right now I think maybe you're actually better off being inside the police stations. Running at half capacity. It's also half capacity of that. Some crimes are being solved. Some of them are going through. Some of them are also not. More criminals in Volcanideni? Yes, that's normal. I'll have to give them time to work out their issues. Well, the issues that we moved into the area, pretty much. Okay, we got an iron ore export set up. It's not gonna make much money. My hope is it drives down the price of steel so we can restart our construction projects. Steel price is about even. I hope that it goes down again to about the starting price. 2000 is too much. Maybe we have to switch over to US currency. Brospyne flat on fire should be no problem. Slopolat's heating plant shouldn't give me a message, it's just a small village. There's enough people here to deal with it. I guess it was good that it gave me a warning at some point because we didn't have enough trucks, but yeah, we don't need the messages. Vulcanideni is a large town, that one can give me a message, it's fine. Rural flats in Sassalis, too many criminals, yeah sure. The less criminals we have, the more people from here are also able to go to our Caminari factory area. But if we start having more criminals, then more workers go inside the prison and work there. So it's like kind of balancing itself. Maybe that is actually a viable strategy with the prisons. You can have the buses here picking up workers, moving them to another area for work. But if they are used locally with the prisons, then you're moving prisoners instead. I think we have enough prison buses now, do we? I wonder if we could have line spacing here, it would be so nice. Like line spacing through a bus end station would be ideal, but it doesn't want me to use that. And the normal line spacing doesn't work that well with that many vehicles, and I don't want to have too many lines. Why do I not open a radio station to help with loyalty? Well, this is a low-tech run, so the limitation I have put in place for this run is that we are only allowed to get one research per settlement. Right now I have like 15 settlements, so I had 15 researchers. And I haven't built a technical university because I thought technical university is high-tech, so we've done the headquarters of the Communist Party first and the medical university instead. The technical university is planned, but we ran into a crime wave, so construction of Mezina has stopped. And even if we get the technical university, I think we're gonna go towards the radio station. It would solve a lot of the issues. But yeah, we also ran into money problems because of the loyalty issues. So it's a specialized run basically. I could just beeline the technical university into a radio station, into the research for loyalty boosting via media, but we didn't do that. We just tried to go low tech. We're not even exporting anything advanced. The most advanced thing we're exporting is clothing. Otherwise it's iron, food, alcohol, clothing, crops. That's pretty much it. To Vassalia end station. There should be a repair station in range, right? That has range. Yeah, that has range of everything. But not much is being repaired here, it looks like. Is the vehicle bugged again? You're fine, you're fine, you're fine. The vehicle is on its way, it says. It's waiting for repair. They are not in here. I think the vehicles might be bugged. Let me change the workplace. Let me get a free vehicle depot in to test it. Also, welcome, Verax. Thank you. Okay, one of the vehicles was bugged. Now it says without service vehicle. You were bugged because you can't move. Oh no, you can move. Okay. Go here. Go here. Go here. Is it working now? Yes. Yeah, unfortunately there are still some issues with the repair stations. Hopefully they'll be fixed soon. Happiness went up a little bit. Ambulance not arrived in Kaminari. Okay. Where's our clinic? We do have a clinic, right? I did not forget the clinic here. It's over there. It blended in together with the university. Yeah, that seems fine. Must have been a fluke with, I don't know, someone probably got shot by a criminal that I moved into the area, and then the ambulance did not arrive in time. Our population went up again though. I don't remember if I got any migrants recently. This year, no migrants. Birth rate is slightly higher than escape and death rate together. Things are improving. We did get a tiny amount of migrants at the start of last year, so not recently, no. But we had a drop in population last year. This year it's going up again, at least right now. I'm still worried about the electronic imports though, they're gonna break us. So, it seems like this method is probably possible to start out with, but you will have to go to the technical university at some point, it feels like. Brospyne, too many criminals. 13% is not that many. Also, you're complaining about not being able to work because of kindergarten, so... Shopping center, clinic, bus, kindergarten. Okay. We don't have any new serious crimes. That is excellent, that's looking very good. If we're gonna go through the medium crimes next, then they can speed up through the minor crimes really quickly. And then things might have stabilized. Maybe we finally got Brospyne under control again. In regards to crime. Education is a whole different matter that we have to start back up. Okay, Sasalis is doing fine. I think Sasalis is now disconnected because of the no personal vehicles. Cool. We got Sasalis under control also. Health low in Brospyne. We do have enough workers in both of our clinics, yeah. Oh, it was probably an empty building that received a new worker in there. We did empty out quite a lot of buildings and migrated them to other areas. But yeah, no, I would say this is close to being resolved. We're gonna let this run through. We'll give it until the end of 2001. And if no new serious crimes show up, we're gonna open up the university and hope that one isn't too late. And move some professors in, I guess, to try and help with getting the people educated again. But yeah, Varix, to come back to your question, why don't I build anything? To show you the researches that I have done. We did some medical researches that we didn't start out with, but I wanted to get medical research done to make our population happier and healthier, to keep population growth high. We did unlock the increased birth rate, which is a repeatable research, so we can do that continuously if we wanted to. Alcohol standards were very good, I think. That's 6 researchers until now. All of this has not been done yet. We got 4 more researchers here for a total of 10 to allow us to set the loyalty for a university education. Got the secret police as well. And then we have 3 researchers to get distribution officers for a total of 13 researchers. And I think we have 14 or 15 settlements. And that's why we don't have anything advanced, because low tech. Government loyalty is still decreasing. Courthouse is being a little bit overworked. Some medium crimes not being able to be dealt with. But yeah, that's always the case. When the police becomes efficient again, the courthouses get overwhelmed. And at some point the courthouses catch up. And then the cases that weren't solved leave the perpetrators crime-free and they commit another crime later, but then we got a few cases solved. So the courthouses find the time to get the other ones behind bars. If we get the money issues under control, we're going to work towards Mezina for the radio station. Right now that is not the case, I don't think. I might have to stop getting foreign manpower for our incinerator area as well. That has been running for forever. It's costing us 50,000 each month. Just gonna send those buses to be scrapped. Out of money. Electricity issues. Money's going down again. Let's take out another loan. Still 4.8%. Prevent penalty repayment rates. And be prepared for the electronics import. And do I have any other bus routes picking up foreign workers? I don't think so. Yes, I do. No. That route will become obsolete. Those are inactive. And there's no workers here either. Okay, so that should be the last remaining foreign workers that we had, costing us 600,000 per year. Hopefully we can provide enough workers to the heating plant, because that is now the other concern. It is currently warm and a good time to make sure that it will work. We need the bus route to the heating plant to have enough buses. Volcanity workers to heating plant. 3 buses for 190 seconds is insufficient. So might be able to get those buses out here again before they are being scrapped, and also assign them to that route. 18 years you can be scrapped, that's fine, but 9 years and that should be okay. We'll get those buses on the road, make sure that our heating plant is always fully staffed. Working on the radio station in Mezina would probably be the right idea. I do have 1 research banked, at least. I don't think I have 2 banked, I think it's 1. So we would be able to get the research station. It costs 1 to get the radio signals, and then the other 1 to get the radio station itself. And then you would still need the research to boost loyalty through the radio. So you would need 3 researchers in total. But since the radio station would probably get its own town to run and operate, that would be a thing that we could set up. I want to give this a little bit of time, because my hope is still that the additional iron exports will drive down the steel price. So the iron ore price is going down slowly. The steel price is holding strong and still, which is by all accounts also a decrease because it's fighting against inflation, so it's staying stable in the face of significant inflation. How's our clothing looking? 200, need 320 at least for an export. We are producing, last year we produced 192, so 1.5, 15 per month? No. Let's try and do math. Last year 192 divided by 12, 10 plus 70 divided by 12, so 16, 17. Yeah, that must be right. Okay. Singriopol, the amount of people living here is so small, but I assume this police station will be able to handle any crime that pops up here. Canadeni being out of goods is not okay. Always have enough sellers in here, please. Power transformer in Kribosia, sure. Coal export also running all the time, keeping the coal price down. Assumption was that keeping the coal price down would also affect the steel price. That seems to not be the case. We've just been driving down the coal price in general. So the price in rubles, which is in yellow and red, is not accurate of if you're keeping the coal price down. I think the US currency is way more indicative of that. It's still slightly rising in US currency as well, but it's not steadily rising. If we're looking at oil, we have the oil price nailed down pretty much. So this one is just, we're exporting 1 oil field worth of oil, keeps the price down, and in turn the fuel price is also kept down. Unfortunately, mostly in US currency. The ruble price is now climbing, so I would like to switch over to US currency in that regard. But yeah, that's why we're exporting raw resources, mostly to keep the prices down of the finished goods. All Canadeni heating plant stopping production shouldn't happen. We do have enough workers there, it's just that it's too warm right now. Let's check on our repair stations again. We had our Kamenari Resources Distribution Office for materials. It still needed to go to Slopolatsk. The warehouse has in the meantime been constructed, so we may bring all of the resources for repairs into said warehouse by unloading it. And then we can disable the material deliveries directly to the repair station and just bring steel here. And that should get the vehicles repaired. Get some service vehicles so they can drive to different areas. And we have repairs in Slopolatsk now as well. With the distribution office being directly connected to the repair station, so they don't have to drive there, they will just be repaired on site. But the buses will get a repair and service vehicle occasionally to the end station, I think. If it is in range. Not sure what's going to happen to the prison buses. My assumption is if they drive past here, they will also get repaired. Don't really need that many workers here. 5 should be enough. We're not going to have that many repairs being done, but we have some repairs that need to be done, so we need a repair station. This area should just run full time. I have no idea when repair waves start happening, like lots of vehicle needing repairs. So this is just gonna stay the way it is, full capacity, to react at a moment's notice. Okay, I'm not getting any, not many criminal warnings anymore about Brospyne. We still have some cases to go through. Would be nice if you could finish that one. Well, it's at 5%, whatever. If it's that low already, just, yeah, throw it away, I guess. But yeah, let's go through the serious crimes. Finish the other ones. Let's see if things stabilize and then open up the university again. Then the crime wave should have been dealt with. Population back up to almost 13k. Population growth seems to be working again, and the population can't kill itself fast enough anymore. And happiness is slowly increasing as well. Loyalty will need a lot of time to recover. So, we're getting some money from the iron exports, which is nice. We're not producing it as much as we could, but that's also okay. There are some vehicles to be scrapped that have gotten too old. But yeah, that's fine. Where are we bringing the resources anyway? Scrapping. Vehicle repair station, repair warehouse. I guess. Sure. We could be all bringing it to Brospyne. Yes, warehouse components, that makes sense. And the steel storage. There it goes, 75,000. Not that much, but better than nothing. I still think iron is our highest export. Unless, of course, we do a clothing export in that year, then it's probably going to be clothing. No, still iron. High margin, very high amount of resources. But clothing and alcohol close behind. Alcohol almost as much as iron last year. And then food and clothing. No. And we're out of money. The interest rate is just going to keep going. I will probably have to start Mezina and try and work to the to the radio station. I'm still in the under the impression that I should shut off electronic imports again, because it's so bloody expensive. It's like the thing that is draining our money for tiny amounts of electronics. It's the electronic imports from the West, much cheaper. Well, it's 8,000. 9,000 versus 29,000. It's a factor of 3. It's somewhat cheaper. Probably have to restart our rail construction. We're not that far off, but the travel time is the thing that is the longest. I guess we could restart rail construction. Sitting here and waiting doesn't do anything. It's just gonna make us run out of money. Or we're gonna realize that we had enough money and then we could have continued building. I think we need to stay proactive and continue working. We're only gonna do one rail line. Don't need to double track that just yet. And it'll also mean that we'll send out only one train. And therefore, hopefully, less resource consumption and more workers working on the rail construction. Okay, you're having a little bit of trouble dealing with the cases. One of them is cancelled, minor case, sure. I think that's all Brospyne trying to redeem itself. We got another serious crime, but it's being worked on really quickly, so it will go to the courthouse really quickly, and there will be enough time to resolve it, I think. Small shopping center in Brospyne having issues. Okay, should be okay. Yeah, that one we can cancel. Over here, only fresh serious crime cases. These ones will be dealt with swiftly as well. I think it might be time to opening up the university. We have 170 people waiting here now. And it might also be time to relocate some more university educated people back here. This is going to take a lot of workforce away from the police stations. Let's pick a building with low criminality like you and high university education. And just relocate the university educated folk over here. Alright, like that. Okay, that's looking decent. We're going to start with high loyalty requirements for students. We're going to reinstitute the secret police so we actually know the loyalty of people, which is also going to take quite a few. But it should reduce the amount of students overall, because we will know their loyalty. At least of those people that live locally. The ones inside villages, anyone can go and study. But I will have to take a break for now. I am very happy with how this developed. It is still a struggle fest. We are nowhere near safe. I think we've dealt with the crime spiral for now. We have to get the education system spun up again. Just basically dump a bunch of university educated folk into Brospyne, make sure that the crime doesn't spiral out of control again, and we get the education rolling. Money is a major concern still. We are over the halfway point. We should have enough rubles to set up Mezina, get the technical university going, and get a radio station going, which would resolve the happiness and with another settlement also the loyalty issues. And I think if that can be done, I think the run would then be safe. Loyalty is the thing that is pretty much like running us into the ground, because keeping the loyalty up via education system is very Very tough. What loyalty do we have here? 37-ish sometimes. I should probably also institute a loyalty requirement over here. And then forget about it next episode and see if we have a problem. But yeah, as I said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We'll be continuing this maybe later today, but at least tomorrow. And until then, I wish you a good Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, wherever you are. Have a good weekend, take care, and as always, maybe I'll see you next time.